Alright, so at the top left-hand corner of Tal'Darim Fortress, we have Fnatic.KawaiiRice spawning as our yellow Terran player. His opponent down here at the bottom left-hand corner, the guy who has taken out 2 Fnatic members, that is Dignitas.Killer. Tal'Darim Fortress is the map, man. Is this the map that Killer goes down?
I don't know, man. I mean, I really want Killer to keep going because he's like the only Zerg player on both these teams that I recall that will actually play. With that said, though, KawaiiRice is so good. Like, his Terran is so good.
He's so fast.
He's so fast. He's so good. He's better, faster, stronger, all that good stuff. So, I don't know, man. I really feel like he's going to put up a good fight against Killer. And we'll just have to see what happens here at Tal'Darim Fortress. Is it an expiring Tal'Darim tower?
Let's see. It is not.
All right.
It's all right. Okay, so here we go. KawaiiRice, this was his map choice, and I imagine that this just means we're going to have quite a bit of 2-base aggression. Now, he has kind of cute potential to go ahead and secure the map. If he's able to lock down this choke point right here with a couple of siege tanks, it'll allow him to get out and PF the open third, which is going to give a lot of map control to KawaiiRice, as he'll be able to effectively defend this area and then extend himself out with siege tanks into the middle of the Tal'Darim Fortress. So certainly a very map control heavy map, and KawaiiRice I think is going to be able to take advantage of that. Killer on the other hand, it's going to be on him to put on a little bit of pressure.
Well, it's interesting you mentioned it's a map control heavy map. I mean, in one aspect I think it definitely favors Terran, and that is that it's a pretty small map. The rush distance from one base to another, it's not that great. I would say it's comparable to maybe Test Bug or something like that, maybe even smaller. The one thing, though, that does favor Zerg, in my opinion, is the map is pretty open to flanking maneuvers. It's not so narrowed and choke off, such as a map like Typhoon Peaks, for example.
Right.
So I think that Killer's got that thing working for him, and, you know, if it gets into a late game, I would expect to see Killer fully utilize the center of the map to his advantage.
And looks like KawaiiRice going Tech Lab first. We're going to see a Reaper expand more than likely. Let's see if he actually pulls himself off of gas or continues to mine it. Looks like he is going to continue to mine it, but the Reaper is on its way.
Yeah, Reaper is on its way, and Killer...
Oh, yeah, yes. No. I'm sorry. This looked yellow in the middle of the map. I thought he had 2 SCVs, so I was like, oh, aggressive bunkering.
Oh, yeah. Well, he could still throw down the aggressive bunker.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no pull yet. Well, the pull just finishing right now. I believe Killer opened up 15-14 pull, 15-15 pull, excuse me. Could be wrong.
Love
looks
the
like
mineral denying there.
I love the mineral
denying. Yeah, he did 15-15 pull. You are correct.
I do love the mineral denying cats. I mean, that's really annoying. It looks like he picks up 5 minerals, and he's going to have to get out of there now with the Zerglings now on the way, and 2 queens being produced at once. Which is going to help him deal with the Reapers really easily.
Yeah, certainly. And I thought Kawhi would have actually done some sort of a bunker behind the natural or something like that. Would have at least forced a lot of drones off the line for Killer, while not really committing too many resources for KawaiiRice. And what you point at? Oh, there we go. The Reaper's making his way in.
Oh, those drones!
He made that one mistake, though, that a lot of players, even very good players, find themselves doing, is he was trying to target down the drones that were sitting on gas, which meant that they kept recycling, and he wasn't getting any kills for a little while. Here we go. Reaper makes its way back into the base, but not going to get any further kills, so the queen was far enough out.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily a mistake, though. I mean, a lot of times players with Terran players with Reapers, they don't want to commit to this side because then they're in between the 2 hatcheries and they can get kind of covered off pretty easily, and there's not as much of an escape route. So I mean, he gets in there, does a little bit of damage, and he's going to get out with both Reapers still alive. In fact, so KawaiiRice has done some pretty good work already. Done good job scouting, and he's killed a couple of drones off.
You know, people were mentioning in chat that it'd be pretty cool if we had Slayers in a couple of weeks to play Team Raid. I mean, we know confirmed Liquid is next, but
I think that would be really cool too.
Wouldn't that be cool, guys, if it was Slayers in a couple of weeks?
Wouldn't it be cool, guys, if Cat's Pajamas and HD StarCraft got brand new cars and were able to just drive off and never come back?
Of course that'd be cool, but I'm a few months away from that point. But anyway, here we go, guys. The nice little job here out of KawaiiRice. He's actually using his top Reaper with more health for vision to pick off a couple of Zerglings sitting down at the bottom. And this queen's going to come back and put an end to that Reaper damage once again. But Kawaii's being suitably annoying and forcing extra lings out of Killer.
Yeah, I kind of like the play from KawaiiRice so far. It's just being uber annoying right now, and he hasn't lost a single Reaper yet, so he's going to continue to do damage wherever possible. At the very least, controls the middle Xel'Naga tower. Now, looking back at KawaiiRice's main, let's see what he's up to. He's got quite a few barracks and a starport and factory on the way with Reactor. It looks like he's going to go for Marine Blue Flame Hellion here with dropships as well. A lot of reactor cores coming up at the same time.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to go after Blue Flame Hellion.
Or not Blue Flame Hellion, excuse me, normal Hellions, yeah.
Yeah, that, or this could
or
just be a
just
switch, for the starport, because I think he's going to put down a tech lab after that and then go straight into siege tank production. Yeah, so he's setting himself already up for 5 Marines at a time, and there's the switch, and we'll see a tech lab here in a second. I would imagine, look, actually looks like he's going to position that down. Stimpak is done. We're going to see Combat Shield next. When that research is finished, he'll switch the factory back over, but all right, KawaiiRice in pretty good position to do quite a bit, or to play a very, very good macro game.
Yeah, excuse me there, guys. KawaiiRice was building that reactor to switch onto the starport. Didn't see that. But he is going to get those dropships out immediately. Going to have a pretty large bio ball as well. Does he have the tech lab building on the factory yet? Yeah, there it is. There's a tech lab going. So he's going to have the tanks rolling out pretty soon. And we're not going to see KawaiiRice push out for, I would say, about a couple of minutes. I mean, unless he wants to push without the coverage of tanks, which it can be a little risky. It can work. I think he's probably going to wait for tanks. And then he's going to make that 2-base timing push against the Zerg player. And we'll have to see if Killer is going to be prepared for it. He does have centrifugal hooks coming, and he has a Spire on the way, so theoretically he should have the forces necessary to deal with Marine tank dropship.
Yeah, certainly. Both these players very, very high APM players, playing at around 250 APM at the moment, and that is average, not current. Current, KawaiiRice tends to blow that out of the water.
Yeah, KawaiiRice's current APM is always so much higher than his average APM.
So when
it's just like slowly ramping it upwards.
When he gets it into the heat of the moment,
he's pushing before tanks.
Pretty ridiculous APM. Yeah, he's actually going to time with Combat Shield. The first tank is actually making its way out right now. And if he was able to get in here before Banelings came up, he was going to do a lot of damage. We already have a couple of Banelings, so it's just going to require good control and a good split. Here's the stim. He's going to have to split up those units as the Banelings are starting to make their way in. But now they are off creep, and it looks like KawaiiRice is just going to try and do a little damage. Oh my god, there's so many Banelings.
Beautiful control by KawaiiRice.
Yeah, very nice
and
split.
Actually, that push, I think, was just designed to pick off the creep tumors in the middle of the map so we would have a stronger tank presence when his 2-base timing push comes. The other nice thing about pushing there is he can pick up the Marines if they're in danger of getting detonated on by Banelings. So KawaiiRice playing that really, really well, and he really diminished the supply of Killer. Killer now sitting at 60, now just bouncing back up to 81, but Killer certainly taking a lot of losses. However, we do have 7 Mutalisks on the way.
Yeah, certainly, and we'll see what the turret infrastructure from KawaiiRice looks like. Do we even have an engineering bay anywhere? I don't think he has an engineering bay up. That means Mutalisk could do quite a bit of damage.
I don't know if he's too worried about it. I think he's banking on the Mutas being on the defensive rather than the offensive, which is kind of cool. I like the playstyle from KawaiiRice, uber aggression, which KawaiiRice is very much known for nowadays. And let's see what he's going to do here. Is he going to engage? It looks like the Mutalisks have been revealed by that comsat. One tank being sieged up outside the range of the creep tumor. Always smart, methodical Terran play. And the creep tumors all in the middle have been dispersed, so those tanks are going to be able to leapfrog closer and closer.
Yeah, certainly. And KawaiiRice actually has a very strong push coming on the way. He's starting to slowly siege these tanks up, one after another. We'll see another scan here in just a second to pick off some more creep tumors and start advancing against those units. But here is the Muta counterattack. No, it looks like he is just going to be a little more worried about these units.
That's huge.
One tank gets picked off, and Kawaii's going to have to split up the rest of his units, especially because Centrifugal Hooks is already done. So those Banelings have speed, but there are enough Marines left over. It's going to force old Killer to pull back for a little while.
I don't know. I think Killer right there could have picked off the rest of those Marines with the Lings and Mutas that he had. But I guess he's just going to wait for Banelings right now. But an opportunity right there where I think he could have traded with the Terran army. And as I say time and time again, anytime a Zerg player has an opportunity to trade heads up with a Terran or Protoss, take it, man. Take it. It's much better to deal with a small army than it is to deal with a maxed out army. But he lets KawaiiRice, I think he let KawaiiRice off the hook a little bit, and KawaiiRice pulls back, reinforces. He's got double the army now, and he's got tanks to boot once again. So it's going to come down to another situation where Dignitas.Killer is going to have to make sure he gets the perfect engage to kill off this tank Marine army.
Yeah, certainly. So Killer's going to go ahead and mass up as many units as he can. Looks like he just committed a lot of gas into Mutalisks. He actually had an abundance of gas there for a while, still has enough to put down a couple couple more, but no, throws that back into Mutas right after the fact. So he's going to try and swing around and make a pretty powerful push, but
the turrets
now
are up.
We already have turrets because he waited just a little bit too long to get that done.
And it looks like the army here is pushing down to the bottom right and going to try to do some damage. Picks off the Overlord for free. The Marines are now spreading out. I love the positioning of the tank on that little ledge right there where it's most narrow, less likely for forces to attack it. And we'll have to see if KawaiiRice continues this push. The one thing for Killer here, he's got to make more Banelings, and he does have 10 Banelings on the way.
Oh, so worried that he sent all of his units down to the bottom right, but he was paying attention to them and doesn't get killed by the massive amount of Marines that are sitting there.
One problem that Killer's has right now is he hasn't been offensive with his Mutas at all.
Yep, certainly.
That's a big problem. And he's going to pick off the tank? No, not quite. Beautiful reaction from KawaiiRice.
Yep, certainly. Kawhi moving up with more units now into double siege tank production as well. He is going to have a pretty intimidating force moving down to the bottom right. And it looks like Killer may be trying to catch these units out of position.
The tanks are sieging up!
Oh, and that was actually really bad timing out of Killer. These Banelings
so
go down
late.
without doing any damage,
Oh,
and
no.
Killer going to lose the rest of those Mutas. That was a huge win for Kawhi.
Yeah, that's going to seal the deal right now. I mean, that engagement alone off the creep, engaging into the Terran army where you don't know where they are, it was just kind of a bold move from Killer, and it didn't really pay off from him.
Yeah, and KawaiiRice throws down the scan, picking off a couple more creep tumors as well. It looks like Killer's trying to produce whatever he can, moving out with more of those fast Banelings, but the siege tank's already doing their damage. Not too many of those Banelings are remaining, and still plenty of Marines to deal with the pack of Mutas.
Yeah, that's going to be GG here. KawaiiRice certainly in control of this game. He's got a big army. All he has to do is just pick off the creep tumors one by one and make that slow, dreaded push into KawaiiRice, into Killer.
Yes.
And Killer probably won't have any response at all. Here are the last Banelings, everything getting destroyed, and that's going to be it.
Yep, and last couple of Lings are about ready to make their way out. It's like Killer trying to delay so we can bring up a few more Banelings, but doesn't matter, he GG's, so KawaiiRice takes a game back for Fnatic here.